just one of my friends.
Some things that we can cover there, the Stargate stuff, and we'll cover it.
Sure. All right. Well, the stream is beginning now, so might as well get it going. This is the Horde Art Rant episode 7 with Byron and Gigi, and Superman may or may not join us in time. We are the founders and creators of the Zomsays on Say and the Creepy Companions on the Stargaze blockchain. Is it a blockchain or is it a platform, Stargaze?
It's a blockchain entirely focused on NFTs.
But, okay. Yeah, because it trades in stars.
Its whole purpose is NFTs, so its only use case is NFTs. But you can vote if you're staking with it, so you have governance power by holding your staking tokens. It's the gas fee for the ecosystem, so it's its own blockchain.
How is the gas fees looking, by the way? I know we've talked about that they're coming on Stargaze, but I haven't heard much more than that, nor have I looked into what the fee costs would be. Have you looked into
Well,
that?
well, I just checked today, and
Oh, okay.
I've been trading a little bit on Stargaze, and the fees have gone up from free to just a couple of stars. Honestly, it's long overdue. They should have done this a long time ago.
I agree.
Uh, I kind of, I kind of feel it was a little late, but better late than never. Um, and yeah, like to list the auction this morning, it was 5 stars. To list some NFTs, it's 1 point something stars, so it's not massive for the price of the stars token, but those things they add up with time. So trading NFTs, transferring them, well, all of that stuff, and minting is now going to be burning tokens and getting more liquidity for the Stargaze ecosystem. Although right now volume is kind of low and traffic is low, so I don't think we're seeing the full effects of that just yet. But yeah, we'll cover what happened with Stargaze today and why I think the price is dumping. I think it has to do with the Intergaze launch, which there was like 3 big mints on a new chain that just launched that Stargaze helped build. So it was called Intergaze, and yeah, the mints they were a little pricey, and they barely made 50% on the first day, and it's a new chain, so
Oh,
it
okay.
kind of had ripple effects all the way down to Stargaze because they were like the ones that built it for them, and yeah, we'll cover all that, but.
For sure. Yeah, we're already live and everything, anyways, and Superman's joined us. So that's cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to introduce him first before I get going.
Sure. I do also want to touch on what is going on with Say as well. So you do your thing, and I'll keep drawing until I get my cue to chime in.
All right, so Superman, welcome first of all, and yeah, basically to cover a bit the Stargaze thing. So yesterday there was a big launch. It was called Intergaze, and their main marketplace and NFT market. Well, that's what they're starting with, and a lot of new chains when they launched their NFTs first, right? The Genesis collections,
Right, raise a little
and
bit of capital or whatever.
yeah, that's it. So every chain usually does that. They come out and the first NFTs are usually very popular, but I think right now there's a bit of the market conditions that weren't ideal. I think a bit greedy in terms of price for the NFTs. They were quite expensive compared to like mints on Stargaze and stuff. So since those mints didn't go very well, and it's a little complicated because it's EVM and people had to use bridges to bridge funds in order to mint, and a lot of people lost their whitelist because of all the backs and forths with the EVM integration that happened a bit later, and I mean it dragged out, right? People were waiting for this launch a long time ago, so when you let a lot of time pass and then the market conditions are not doing well, it's like a bit of a recipe for disaster. So although the mint is not like totally horrible, they still got like 50% at the high mint prices. So some collections decided to burn their supply this morning. So the Tootsie collection ended up minting about 4,600 NFTs on 10,000. So even the supplies were quite large, right? Even with the mint price. So like they were trying to raise a lot of money there.
Wow.
And it's understandable. Maybe they thought that they were going to get a lot more hype than expected. And yeah, that didn't pan out. And since Stargaze were the ones that actually built the marketplace and the launch pad for them, and it didn't go well. It had like ripple effects to the Stargaze token, where a massive whale unstaked a bunch of tokens, and he's
Ah,
been
okay.
dumping. So, uh,
Revenge.
yes, the whales. We love the whales, right? And the Stargaze APR is pretty high at 17%. So there's a lot of selling pressure there. But again, I still feel like the new tokenomics that although they were maybe a bit late coming in, it's going to be beneficial with time. So yeah, we're just hanging in there right now, and
Yeah, pretty much.
hopefully some better price action across the board for that. So that's a bit for the Stargaze side of things and what's going on there. But
Okay.
well, that's it.
So a whale got upset and caused a price dump, basically.
Exactly.
Ah,
And that's the markets, right? The markets can do whatever they want. These blockchains have already released the majority of their tokens. They're already all out in circulation. So we're really at the mercy of these people that accumulated a lot. But at the same time, this is maybe opportunity for somebody that was looking to get in. Since they launched the new tokenomics, where if you're staking tokens, you'll have priority lanes for whitelist. You'll get featured spots for the creators and stuff like that. So hopefully, there's going to be a little shift in momentum once those whales do decide to get out, because market cap is, I think, below 3 million now, so it's super low for a chain that I think was sitting in the hundreds of millions
just finished.
just a couple of months ago. So
Yeah. What a shift.
it is
Eh?
what it is. Yeah.
All right. Have you heard what the Say is doing? I think they're one of the first that can be traded with and trading staked Say, apparently.
Well, I saw a lot of things. There was actually the founder that came on that was talking about basically having like Web 2 access, and now he was going with the special lingo, but basically using your emails to create an account without having to have a seed phrase. So they're
Right.
really trying to go for the user, right? Make it easier for the user to get into the chain and participate in the ecosystem by not having to, download the seed phrases and storing them themselves. So by having a login with your, let's say, email address, maybe your Google account, and maybe, I don't know, Facebook and other things like that. I don't know if that's part of it, but that's the idea behind it. So I know they did that. There was a nice little rant from him yesterday that I saw. Um, I also saw Canary Capital, which is looking to launch a Say ETF. So that's pretty big for institutional investors that want to get into the chain. And total value locked on the chain is reaching almost all-time highs, or very close to what they had when the chain was doing very well, and the price action is not reflecting it. So honestly, it's looking really good for Say right now. So again, sometimes you just got to be patient. Chains go through their fair share of hardships. There's ups and downs, and right now Stargaze is going through their fair share of hardships. Say is going up. So again, it's a unpredictable market. The idea here is to get positioned on the different chains, be diversified, and hope for the best here, because I really don't think all of the chains will succeed. I
No.
do think there's some chains that are just going to disappear with time if they don't get the attention or the adoption that they're looking for. But
Speaking of chains
again,
that might disappear, have you ever heard of the Telos blockchain?
Telos, it's giving me reminders of something that I heard about, but
I think it was
I'm not
probably a
getting
little
anything.
EOS based.
There you go.
Yeah, and they were like back almost 2 years ago now. They had started up, and I tried to work on them a little bit with them. They had Nefty blocks from the Wax blockchain was building there, and their whole platform worked on Telos, but Telos just never really went anywhere, and the NFT scene was at that time dwindling, so it was just horrible to try to launch almost anything. But that's one chain. I'm not sure if it's still in existence anymore.
Well,
A lot of
Telos,
chains
I
come and
know.
go, and yeah, Superman, go
Telos,
ahead.
I know on Coinbase there was they have like a little earn section where you do some tasks and you get some free crypto. I know it was part of it. I thought it was more of like a stable coin than anything else, but yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, there's plenty of chains, right, that have come and gone so far.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at on the Cosmos side, Juno did really well. It's still around, but it's pretty much dried up. Yeah, and there's a lot of chains that just are come and go. And again, you have to stay in the current news. You have to have the proper upgrades. You have to be forward thinking of what's coming next. I think the next wave is going to be AI, which a lot of people seem to be getting behind. I mean, AI agents were a huge thing just a few months ago, and right now I feel like it went pretty quiet. So I don't know if they're just building better tech or for that type of stuff. And again, I think a lot of chains are holding off of their airdrops just because of the market conditions, and everybody's really waiting for that shift to happen, and it doesn't seem to be happening yet. So
All right.
again, be patient. We do think that the future is still crypto, right? I don't think crypto is going anywhere. So
So
we got to be patient with these things, and we keep keep doing what we're doing and providing content via our art, and that's all we can really do right now.
yeah. Now speaking of art, what kind of like that's my kind of section. That's where I kind of get more curious about what's going on in the crypto scene. Less more about the money, more about like where can I build? Where can I find an audience that actually is appreciating art? Where is that platform for those creators out there that are trying to shill their craft? Have you heard anything new lately?
Well, there's
Well,
nothing really,
I
really
think
out there. I mean, there's still the existing chains, right? Drip is doing kind of well. Stargaze, although the price action of the token is not doing well, NFTs are still doing well on that chain, especially the ones with use cases. And I feel like a lot of people are pushing just art-based collections, and that's great. And unfortunately, I still think it's niche, right? So the NFTs that seem to be doing a lot better right now are the ones that have use cases or that get airdrops from ecosystems. So like the Genesis collections, those are
Right.
still doing well and performing and getting volume consistently, even though the markets are not performing. So again, I think it's just the fact of liquidity. People are just don't have that luxury to just buy art for collecting. It's just people don't have the funds for it, because if they did, they would keep collecting. And
Yeah.
right now we're at that point where I feel like a lot of these Genesis collections have been getting a lot of the airdrops, and it's really focused on those specific collections. And those people, that also have been saturated or have sold their airdrops, and they're not necessarily looking at growing their NFT bags. And like
Yeah.
myself, I have so many NFTs that, yes, I would love to keep collecting, but at some point, it's not sustainable, right? You have to make a living, you have to make a bit of money in order to keep surviving. And now that they've given all these airdrops to specific communities like the mad scientists, the Celestine slots, and all the smaller communities that I think build an ecosystem. Sometimes the little guy is much louder than the guy that's making all the money, that's just really being silent in the background collecting and flipping NFTs. Well, if you lose all those little guys that are loud, well, it's hard to spread the word out. And I feel that was a bit of a mistake from a lot of chains to focus on NFTs solely for airdrops. They should focus more on people that were actually staking the tokens, because without stakers, first of all, the APR or the inflation on the token goes up big time, because if there's no stakers, well, the APR goes higher to incentivize stakers, but it also creates a lot of sell pressure for the token. So
Yeah.
again, I feel they shifted away from airdropping to stakers, especially on the Cosmos side. That's why I'm talking about that specifically. Because back in the day, you would stake Atom and Osmosis, and everybody would airdrop tokens to you. So you would have plenty of the liquidity to go and spread around, whether it be for NFTs or play around with DeFi. And now we don't have that, right? Those airdrops are not happening. And the ones that are trying to do their airdrops, well, their airdrops are just being insta dumped for US dollars, and people are cashing out. People are learning, right? They're not holding on to their bags like they used to, especially in these market conditions. So
So the game
it's just
has
like that.
changed, right? So
It's a
people,
vicious circle.
right? I agree.
well, I wouldn't say things have changed. What I think
No, the game
is
has
the main
changed.
issue now. The platforms for art and stuff, they're all there. The big problem right now is retail investors are not here. So I just for fun, I went on ChatGPT and I went to get a bit of data. So normally retail shows up whenever there's an altcoin boom. And right now we didn't get it yet. So usually the cycle, the way it goes, there's an altcoin breakout, then you get the meme coin mania, and then you get the retail surge when they start seeing all these people put $10 in a in a meme coin and everything goes crazy. So even if you look at metrics on Google's and searches and stuff, it's at an all-time low right now. But ChatGPT is comparing it to 2019, early 2020, right before the mania kicks in. So I mean, without an altcoin season, I think we're gonna have a hard time seeing any traction, to be honest, because that's where most retail investors are at. That's
Yeah.
most of them, unfortunately, they're not into BTC, they're not into the big coins, they're into the little coins. So I think the recipe for success here would be a nice little relief on these outs that have gotten completely massacred in the past, I would say, 2 years.
Yeah, but that's what
3 years.
Byron was saying, right? The game has changed, Superman, because there's so many more tokens, right? Before, when we were launching altcoins, maybe there was a couple thousands, but now we're talking about tens of thousands of tokens. So everything's being diluted. So the game has changed, and that's why the airdrop meta has switched to NFTs. But again, I find that's being a bit detrimental because it's focusing that liquidity on just a specific group, and even on a collection, let's say on Mad Scientist or Celestine Slot, sometimes the same user has several accounts. So sometimes that even shuts down that the holders count is even lower than we actually think in these collections. So yeah, I think the game has changed, Byron.
Yep.
And I think you are right. And things are just shifting and changing. And again, we need to adapt and focus on what we can control, and which is producing content and keep making the art that we believe that people are going to enjoy. And hopefully whenever there is going to be some sort of breakout, we'll benefit from that.
All right. So that in mind now, like I'm gonna get, I'm gonna start shilling myself a little bit here. So I talk in like roundabout circular kind of ways. It's hard to get to the point, but the point is, I'm all about trying to basically build up my brand, right? So I'm focused on the money because I need money. I'm freaking broke, but it's not my main focus. Money will come. So my main focus has always been trying to figure out ways to get people to engage with me and engage with my art. And if I can get them to do that, then I have a little hook in them now, right? And then I can probably get them to do something else and then engage a little bit more and then build the community that way. Because that's kind of how I work, right? It's in layers. I'm like an onion. So I'm gonna cut right to it. Like on wax, for example, I have multiple collections. My main collection is the Byron's Art Set 1, which is honestly the greatest name I could have ever thought of. Had I known what I was doing back then, it would have been different. But anyway, so Byron's Art Set 1 is this massive collection of 150,000 different NFTs. Some are worth nothing, some are worth lots. And the idea is going to be to end up using that collection as a jumping board into gamifying it and gamifying the other collections, which are my Zombie Cats, my Zickle Army, and the Own Byron's Art collection. So what I'm doing, I'm going to show you a picture. I have multiple pictures made. I have this one picture made of a bunch of Zickles, and in total I believe there's 9 different pieces to it. So it's a puzzle, right? But it's one solid piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm digitally cutting it up and making it into 9 different NFTs that are going to be distributed in a certain kind of way. Now this other picture that I don't know. Am I still talking to you guys?
Yeah, and I see the Zickles.
Okay, there we go. So now this picture is going to be in the Byron Art Set 1 collection. It's going to go under the... I'm getting like an error on my freaking thing. What is running?
Yeah, it's lagging a little bit on Twitter, like the live stream, but I mean, I see the image and it's moving slowly, so it's still moving.
Slowly loading. Yeah, I got a little warning going on here. Something is going on.
Probably your connection, but it seems better now.
All right, good. I closed a few windows. So now this piece that you're looking at, it actually contains 22 different images, and what I'm using is, I figured, like nobody really helps you, so you got to help yourself. And then there's AI, and you guys have kind of used AI enough to influence me to use it myself to start setting up a 6-week program on Wax. It's a collecting adventure. So in 1 week, they get to collect these 5 pieces and they have to put it together. And I have a way to use the Twitch streamers that also give away wax every Tuesday. They're affiliated with wax in an FT sort of way. They're going to give away pieces that when you collect these, you need the Horde's glue to get them to stick together. But wax gives me the option of, it might work, it might not. You might actually lose all this stuff, right? So they've got like gambling built in right into the NFT scene, so that I can make people collect, try to trade, try to get all the pieces, so that if they can get all the pieces during all 6 weeks and do all the different tasks of staking resources and, you know, learning about the wax ecosystem, if they're the first one that can get it, they can claim this original artwork plus, you know, some coins and shit like that, right? So that's something that I'm trying to do, just to do something to get my wax community involved. And it won't really make me a lot of money. I'm doing it in my little bits of spare time here and there. But it's just one of those kind of drawings that I've been putting together over the last couple weeks. And this one, actually, I probably started putting it together a couple months ago, not knowing what the hell I was going to do with it, but just drawing for the fun of it. So that's wax, right? Like, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do on wax. So with that, I'm going to start getting people to be Twitch streamers for the Horde, and I'll give them a non-transferable NFT. So I'll mint it directly to them, and they can't sell it, swap it, or anything. And that will let me use them as an airdrop for my other rewards that I'll send to them, so that when they do their streaming, they can promote the Horde and the wax collections and all that stuff. And because it's almost seamless, you know, and they have a bigger audience and bigger reach and do different things than I do, it almost makes perfect sense. Now, here's the real kicker too. Because I own the DHC coin, I am the founder of it, and then I can distribute it how I wish to, because it all comes back to me anyway, sort of thing. I'm going to pay these people that are doing the streaming, because their non-transferable NFT can be staked in their own wallet, and they can earn DHC on a daily basis. So I can give them like 100 DHC a day, which translates to about like 2 cents or something, right? Like a tiny thing, but it builds up and it's transferable and it's tradable, and you can also use it to buy my exclusive NFTs, which you can then sell for a higher price. So I'm trying to build this whole like little economy for my collectors rather than just for myself. And that's kind of what we're doing with the Horde of the Undead, the Creepy Companions collection, right? Like, we're trying to build it so that it continuously builds the collection up and helps and rewards the holders. So yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? With what you just described, I don't think there's any chains that even comes close to being able to do all that you're going to do on wax. So again, sometimes, you know, these older chains, they're a bit in the shadows, and it's hard to get people to get on board. But just with everything you described, and you're capable of doing that as a creator, I think it makes it very interesting for creators and the wax chain. And it's unfortunate that the chain is a bit more in the shadows, right? And it's hard to get people to get on board on these different chains. But again, we launched on Stargaze, we launched on Say. All we can do is talk about it and shill it and show people what we can do. And I think these live streams and having Twitch streamers talk about it, well, you know, that is the right approach, Byron. And you have to do stuff different than others, right? Everybody puts out a collection of art. Everybody does that. So what makes you stand out is not necessarily the art itself, because there's plenty of artists and they're all good. Let's be honest. There's a lot of good artists. And
so many better than me.
And it's a competition, and it's not necessarily who's better. It's different, right? It's completely different, and it's what people vibe with. And sometimes, you know, the artist can be really, really good and his art is amazing, but if people don't vibe with the artist himself because he doesn't showcase himself, or, you know, he just keeps pushing art out, you know, some people don't vibe with that. So it's like a whole mix of things. It's not just one specific thing. It's a concoction of different things that'll make you successful. And again, we have to try new things, because we can clearly see that just pushing art for art itself is not enough. You got to do more in this space, because the competition is freaking fierce, man. Everybody's trying to be the one or the collection that stands out on the different chains. And I think for yourself on wax, you seem to be very well respected. People have a lot of respect of what you've done. You've been there for years now, and you're still pushing the chain. You know, whether it's doing good or bad, you're always there, right? And same thing with us with with Stargaze, right? It's not doing well right now, and but the thing is, you could either jump ship and try to go on another chain, which you think is going to be better. But like I've seen a lot of people do that with Polygon
Yep.
uh, early on, but then that dumped, and then people went to Say, and now Say wasn't doing that well. But I think with time and consistency and quality creators, they're gonna push the chains, and it's gonna push their art. And all you can do is try, man.
Yep.
If you don't try, I mean, you can't succeed. So
Exactly. And now going back to that whole like you can't just push art out for the sake of art. I mean, you can, but if you're going to, I'm. Oops, sorry about the camera there. I'm a kind of guy that like pushes art out all the time. So because I do that, and because a lot of people don't like that, because it devalues everything else that has come before. So they say. I mean, I could argue, and we'll definitely have this argument in a couple hundred years from now. But, right? The thing with Drip now, Drip is an art for the sake of art. They don't, the whole Drip platform, if you're there to flip and to make a buck off the work of other artists, they don't really give a shit about you. I mean, they don't want you to be bad or anything wrong or anything, but they don't care that you don't make money from the artist because they're here to help the artist make money from you, which is interesting because one drip is always going to be one drip because it's based on the USDC coin, and therefore, they can't really trade it. It will never be inflationary, deflationary, or whatever. One drip is always one drip, so you can always secure your common for 10 droplets, which is 1 cent, right? Because you get 1,000 droplets for $1. And that apparently is going to be the way it is until they change it. But that's how it is right now. But the thing with Drip is it is all about pushing art out. And there are so many artists out there that most of them don't get anything, right? Like there's been days, I'm not the most popular artist. I know that, at least not on Drip. I'm the most popular artist, second most popular artist in this house. But on Drip, I'm starting to get known because I'm doing those daily drops. Because I'm taking my sketchbook that I might fill up while watching a movie with Monica in the nighttime, and I'll in the morning photograph it and cut it up and drop a whole week's worth of daily drops on Drip, so that I'm consistent. And then I'm working on that leaderboard too, because in the art world, it's all about perception. You're either low priced, or you're high priced. And there's almost nowhere in between, right? And people look at that, and then they look at your popularity. So if you're high priced right from the start and you don't really have any popularity, good luck on selling that. I mean, everyone knows that's kind of how it was back in the 2021, right? You're an artist, you go out, you throw some kind of whatever it is as a piece of art, and you hope to sell it for 10 or 20 grand, right? Like that's how the whole OpenSea thing was for a while, or at least that was the dream. No, I don't know anyone that actually made sales like that, but listening to the key opinion leaders and those other grifters, everybody was making sales. So the hype was on then. But again, like on Drip, it's all about art and consistency. And then there's the leaderboard. And now they have a storefront so people can resell their old drops that they had published. Like I could go back to when I started and resell some of my other ones for more money now. Now they're also introducing physicals, and they're really pushing the Solana store, and Jupiter's involved with them. And now they have this great big meme coin contest where if you create art on their meme coins, you might get a prize from that community and be part of the Jupiter history and stuff, right? So it's really, if you're really looking for the place for artists, they are out there. But again, like if you're an artist looking for a place to happen, it's going to take work. Like you got to put in the time. You got to, as you keep telling me, we got to show up to those spaces. And, I'm showing up to the wax spaces because I'm pretty good there. I'm trying to show up to the Stargaze ones, but they seem to not coincide with my free time as much as I'd like them to. But you know what? It's trying, right? And showing up and being there and consistently putting out the art. And that's kind of what the whole AAA team does, what we do on Stargaze, as well as much as we can on Say. It's nice to have the supporters that have trusted us over the last year and a half. They're shilling us now to people that are just getting introduced to the ecosystem to tell us how hard we grind and that we're always showing up. And that brings our floor price up too, right? Like it's all... So I told you I talk circular and I kind of beat around the bush, but the point is that Drip is the place for artists. So if you really just want to collect art and you don't care about the flipping and stuff like that, bam, Drip is probably one of the best bangs for your buck.
Yeah, and I think for you, Byron, the fact that you're going on all these different chains and you're making a name for yourself on all the different chains, that's how you're gonna grow, right? I see your handle is already like 6, 7,000 followers, and I mean, it's gonna grow slowly, organically with time, and I think people respect the grind, respect the commitment that you have on the different chains, and eventually, with time, I do believe that right now we're going through a lot of hardships, and you're seeing a lot of creators disappear
Yep.
because of it. So I think just the fact that we're still sticking around, we're still doing the live streams, although monetarily, right, it's not really happening, right, in terms of being able to live off of this technically. Because before you were making, let's say, $100 a week. Now we're making maybe $10 a week, which
Yeah,
is
it's quite a dry up.
which is not which is not crazy. But the thing is, the passion and the love for your art, and to push it out, and to push your brand, that it's priceless. Nobody can put a price tag on that. You love doing this, and I think people eventually are gonna respect that grind. And right now, I think it's just it's one of those waves where things aren't going so well for people. I don't think it's anything against the artists themselves. It's just people are struggling, man, and they just don't have that leisure time or that luxury to go and collect a bunch of art, because a lot of people would love probably to support and purchase a bunch of these pieces, but unfortunately, the funds are not there, and all we can do is keep drawing. At least we're creating this content. It's free, right? People can watch you draw here. Doesn't cost them a dime,
Yep.
and they can really enjoy what you're doing, the creative process, and that's all we can do right now, and that's all we can control.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's also kind of why I'm trying to take that approach with wax, because I own the DHC coin and it is tradable. It's a way that I can actually reward people that doesn't actually cost me any money, right? I can just like we've only minted out, I think, 200,000 or 300,000, maybe 1 million already of the DHC tokens, and there's only a 13 million supply. And I still own, like in my own wallet, I have about 200,000 or 300,000 that I use to pay people in the Horde's Discord that go in there just to do something as simple as work, right? They do that. They go into the one specific channel, they type !work, and they work for. It tells them they're working, and they work for points, and later on they can change those points into DHC, and then they can go and they can buy. Either they can change it to wax and then convert it to Ethereum and then get payout or whatever, right? Or they can swap it around and try to get, whatever it is that people do for trading. Or they can go buy NFTs and they can flip those. And the DHC, it's crazy because I gotta draw something. In the last month or so, the DHC has actually gone up dramatically. I still own about 50% of the liquidity, maybe only 44%, but people are using it. People are trading with it. They're buying it because I keep putting out small NFTs that you can only buy with that coin, right? And then when they buy that, then they go and they flip that NFT to get like a couple bucks or a couple pennies more. Really, it's not huge dollars here, right? But it's still a small way that I can kind of reward the people that are rewarding me. So again, it gets circular, and when they buy something, if they buy my NFT for DHC, I get the DHC back, so I can give it back to them later. I think it's funny as hell.
You know what, Byron? Honestly, I think our biggest challenge for, let's say, the Stargaze community and the Say community is to showcase the wax chain, which is hard to do. But hopefully with these live streams, and maybe once you do have that 6-week campaign going, that we can showcase a little bit more, and if we get support even from like the marketplace or the chain or specific influencers on that chain to promote it with you, since they're being rewarded for it, it's going to be easier for us to spread the word. But I think that's our job, that's our duty, is to show people that they can do these things. Honestly, the way you described it before, and all of the things that you plan on doing, I think it's absolutely crazy. I can't even believe that you can do all that stuff on one chain right now. So
Yeah.
it's definitely unique. It's definitely something different, and that's what we need. We need new stuff and different things that people can actually do to interact with the NFTs, because that's the beauty of the blockchain and the NFTs. It's like a whole new world. It's Web3, and and we could do all these different things that you can't do with just normal art in real life. So
Right, exactly. Like I'm trying to bring back those trading card vibes. You know, the you want to collect the whole set of stickers and then mail in for the special poster that you might get. Right? Do you remember ever doing stuff like that? Like I remember collecting GI Joe toys, and if I collected enough certain things, I could mail in and get a Sergeant Slaughter doll. Or GI Joe toy. I mean, not a doll. They're not toys. I mean, shit. I didn't play with dolls. I played with action figures.
me too.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, I've never seen that though. That you could collect action figures and send them in for something else. That I've never seen before. But I used to collect the cards, Marvel cards,
Yeah.
hockey cards, and then you could go to the store and trade them in for a better one, right? You could switch, let's say, 20 of your regulars for one of the rare ones, and the card store clerk, he would, like, take the deal, and it was his call whether he would give it to you or not. But it was fun, man. I was a
Store
little kid,
credit.
and dealing with that adult to get that rare piece, and I would give him, listen, I'm gonna give you 20, 30 of them. I'll give you 40 of them for that one, because that's the one you really want, is that rare one, right? So
Right.
yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and for sure, we have the opportunity with these new marketplaces and NFTs to do it. Then, even just to get a little bit out of it, but the Sneaky project, which is one of our big holders of AAA NFTs, Don Donnie is a part of it, and they're trying to bring back that cards, right? They're putting their NFTs on actual cards and packs that they're selling in real stores right now across the U.S. So they're really trying to branch out the NFTs back to the physical art, and it's special, it's different, and
Yeah.
it's
I
they're
love
doing
their
something
initiative.
different. Yeah,
That's awesome. And you're
yeah.
right. Like now, here's the thing too. Wax has like if you were really wanting to try this out or something, or maybe me, or if I knew people, like Wax has a grant program that they're desperately trying to use up, and they're mostly trying to give it to like developers that are going to develop open software, right, or open source software for the blockchain. But they also are looking to give it to influencers that have ideas on how to market the blockchain for them. And well, hey, I mean, I think that's kind of
So
what we just talked about a
we
bit.
definitely have to look into it, and like for us creators like that, these are the opportunities. We've shown that we're here to stick around. So obviously, our chances of getting those grants are there, right? Remember with the grant rounds. Although we were new creators, we really had an effect on the community where we were pretty loud, right? And we got pretty high up in the leaderboards there for engagement on Twitter. That is our strength. AAA is that we like to make a lot of noise. We like to make gifs, memes, to push the art itself. So it's not just art. There's a whole package that we come with. But again, to get people to participate and to get behind the stuff, there needs to be some sort of monetary incentive, or else people can't just keep doing stuff for free forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, at the beginning you want to push your brand, so you do a lot of things for cheap, but eventually, people have to earn a living. So a lot of people are working full time, doing NFTs part time. I think us, for yourself and myself, we do put a lot of time into crypto because that is your main source of income. So
No problem.
it is different for us. We do have a lot more time on our hands to do things,
Well,
which is to our advantage, and we should definitely explore those options on the different chains. So we have to look into that, and if Wax wants to get behind us and help us promote your art, and have us do different things that maybe are already available on chain, or maybe get into contact with some developers that are willing to help us out to get those grants, right? And I'm sure you must know some
oh yeah.
on the Wax, and that's the hard part, getting to know people that we trust,
Yeah.
because that's the hard part. And again, we've tried with AAA now. It's been several years, and we've made some big partnerships with some chains, whether it be Passage for our metaverse for our little dogs. The Chihuahua chain partnered with us and gave us the mandate to manage the communities for that collection. So those are big partnerships for the brand, but after that, it needs to pan out. Those products need to be released, and right now, we're a bit on the sidelines, waiting for those developers to produce those worlds in order for us to to really showcase that all the work we put here is actually bringing fruit to whether it be a metaverse or a game or whatnot. And that's the goal and the objective. And we're still waiting for those worlds. And I kind of feel everybody's waiting for the markets to turn around to make those big releases, because the worst thing would be that you release this huge game or this huge metaverse, and then there's just nobody to go and play.
Yeah, I know,
That would
right?
be like bad,
So
right?
that makes me wonder, like, about the developers sometimes too, because a lot of these developers, they also have other jobs, right? Like, they're not just developing this one thing and that's it. They're doing like multiple things, just like we do. So that's kind of why they wait, right? They build this really cool thing, and then it's like, oh, nobody's going to be around to use it, so why would we put it out?
Well, going to these conferences and going to spaces and doing a lot of things. This is where you meet people. This is where you can get to connect with these different developers, because a lot of them are looking for work. They just they're like in an ocean, and they're trying to find the best place for them to launch something, or somebody that has a really good idea. But sometimes if we're just here on Twitter talking about it here, the chances that a specific developer is listening to this space right now while we're
Slim.
talking about this and get into contact with us, it's hard, right? So we really need to show up on these spaces, whether it be Stargaze or Wax or Say, and really keep pushing the word out there, that we're looking for this type of stuff. And again, I know that a lot of developers are a bit greedy and expensive, but sometimes if there's a little bit of a mix of a less greedy developer, maybe not as competent as maybe others that are asking for huge amounts, that are really going to be able to produce something huge, but some hungry developers that are looking to develop something that actually people are going to use, and they're willing to put in the time and the effort to build something with an artist or a group of people that market the product for them. I think that's how you're going to be successful. You need a team around you
Okay.
to build something here in the Web3 space, because there is a lot of work just maintaining your community and keeping
Yep.
them engaged. It's
Yeah,
a
like
lot of work.
exactly
Because
what we were
as
talking about
long as
earlier.
you drop the ball a little, they go away and they go somewhere else and they go try other things, and then they don't come back. So
Yep.
hard.
All right, that's pretty good. We got 16 minutes, but this is kind of like we could end it early if we wanted to. There was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, okay. Back to the whole drip thing for a second, if you don't mind. So because I'm trying to be consistent and I'm trying to do these daily drops on drip, like, there was days where I would get nothing on drip, right? Not one penny, and I still, like, just a couple days ago, that was one of those days. But normally it's usually about $1.27 a day, USD, by the way. So it's $1.50 Canadian. Today, right? Today was 4.52 USD, and that's because people are seeing that I'm engaging with them, and now they're also noticing that the Drip Horde channel on Twitter is engaging with them, and we're showing up more often to things, right? Like, I might not be participating in every single kind of thing that Drip does, because I don't have that kind of time. All their contests and everything, it's a nice thing, but I'm not a big contest fan, never been. But I'm just, again, like, showing up, right? Getting the name shown. Oh, look, it's DHC, he's there. It's Drip Horde's there. Gigi's there. The Creepy Companions are there, right? Like, people like to see it, and the more they see it, the more they remember you, and the more they might tell their friends about you. So because of the consistency, today I got 452 on my Drip account, and that's the kind of cool thing about Drip too, is it pays out daily. So any artists that are listening, Drip is now free to get on to. Just get a Phantom wallet, sign up, and start creating, and then you can start making your pennies a day too. But Drip is also really cool because it's a platform where it kind of it promotes the artists so that the artists don't have to promote it, right? So if you start following, you always see the new stuff coming up every time you check on that platform. A lot of other platforms don't do that. Actually, I can't think of any platforms that do that yet. None. Like, when you log into Stargaze, you don't get to see what your favorite creator has done just recently, right? When I log into Wax, I don't get to see anything, right? I get to see the marketplace, and that's it. I have to follow the creators on Twitter or on Telegram or Discord or stuff. But when you log into Drip and you've got
It's
your
only one
favorite
place.
creators, They're all there. Yeah, so that's pretty clever, actually. I just really, right now, thought about how clever that is, actually.
I'll be honest with you, Drip is, I think, an incredible platform for artists and creators because, yeah, it's like the full package and it's very well built out, right? It's really catered for you can follow your favorite artists and those are the ones only you're going to see, and then you could go and explore other artists if you want to, and you just got to follow them to get updates about whatever they're doing, and it is a really cool platform. So. Um, but before we close off the space, Byron,
Sure.
we did have some announcements today that we put out. So we
Oh,
did
great.
put a piece out for the Horde of the Undead.
Yes.
So we have an auction going right now. We have the announcement in our Discord. I put it out this morning. There's also the live auctions, which today at in about 13 minutes, if nobody bids on the piece, we're going to be pushing the creepy companions, the NFTs that we swept. We're going to be using those in the Zomsafe section for now, since we can't upload one-on-ones. We're going to try to onboard users onto Stargaze and give people an opportunity to use their Zomsays to get
That's
some
cool.
creepy companions. So if it doesn't cost them anything to acquire and be a part of the community, well, that's amazing. And right now, the Horde of the Undead, the floor price has actually shot up to 97K stars, which is huge.
Holy.
So again, if you want to burn a couple of Zomsays for some Horde of the Undead NFTs, where you're going to have some opportunities. Byron has a few pieces ready for the one-on-one. So we've got the one that we put out today. We've actually been working on a portrait of JP Mullins, a zombified portrait of him that we're going to release right after that one. So the auction is going to be live for 3 days. If nobody bids on it, we're going to put it up for auction for to burn creeps or zombies in the creepy companions gated section. So you really need to have at least one NFT to participate in these things and get verified in our Discord. So if you haven't done that yet, well, do that so that you can participate. If you're holding only Zomsays, we'll have some auctions for you guys to get a creepy companion so you can participate to acquire these one-on-ones, because again, they're very unique. And if you guys have any suggestions or ideas, or you want something drawn specifically for you, just put a suggestion in, and Byron will draw it, and then you guys can bid on it with your creepy companions, your Zomsays. Again, a lot of these NFTs can be used as currency to purchase some of these pieces. Obviously, we'd prefer them selling for stars so that we can keep growing the wallet. But we do know that the market conditions currently are not in our favor, and a lot of people are maybe struggling with acquiring tokens right now. But again, we want to put the opportunity there for people to acquire in stars. If that doesn't work out, we'll put the NFTs for auction. But again, to reduce the supply of the creepy companions, which is just gonna give more funds that actually backs the initial collection that we built out, that we want to keep providing value to, because those are the people that supported you and minted all these NFTs for 10 USD originally. So we really want to cater to them and grow that pie with them with time. So again, we're gonna have auctions in Zomsays. We're gonna have auctions for the creepy companions, and we're still gonna give you guys opportunities for these live auctions. And also next week, and Superman's working on this new marketplace that wants to launch, which is going to be a bit similar to Palette apparently, and they're doing a lot of promises where we'll be able to start launching our one-on-ones again on Say, and we're really looking forward for that, because once we joined Magic Eden, we really felt like we lost a huge chunk of our utility from the free mint, right? Which was that these NFTs would be currency to grow that one-on-one collection, Say of the Dead. So right now it's still sitting at that small supply, and that's what we're looking for, right? Have a big supply collection all of a sudden turn into a small supply collection, which we think provides more value. A lot of the pieces are very personal, right? You've made portraits of the big influencers on Say, and I think that collection with time is going to tell a story, right? We made Francis, we made Roy Lopez,
Yeah.
Nifty, Biggie. These are all big people that are just pushing the Say ecosystem, and we've zombified them, so they're going to live on with the undead and the NFTs forever. So that's the goal there. So these collections are not only just pure art, but they also tell a story and a description on every single piece, and we're having a lot of fun with that, right? We had a lot of fun with those pieces, and I would really love that we can keep doing that, especially for the Say ecosystem, because Out of all of the chains we're in right now, I think the Say ecosystem seems to be well positioned to get some more adoption overall, and it seems to be doing very well. Institutional plays are going there, so yeah, it's very interesting. Sometimes it does have its highs and lows, but right now, to me, looking like from the background, it looks like Say is really making a big push overall. So it would be really cool that we can keep putting pieces up there, and revive a little bit the Zomsays collection, because right now volume is low across the board on all NFTs, whether it be Say or Stargaze or even Wax, even Drip. I'm
Yep.
sure that the overall volume has gone down in general, and everybody's waiting for that, and we're right there, and we'll be ready whenever everything picks up again. And I really think that the second half is going to be a lot better for the market in general. And right now, I think it's natural selection. The chains that are still pushing and pushing forward, that built themselves a bit of leeway here during the bear market, that they're going to succeed and they're going to do better. And yeah, the better ones are gonna stick around, and the ones that aren't too ready and weren't battle tested, well, they're gonna have their fair share of struggles. And I think that's the advantages of these older chains like Wax or Stargaze or Say, which is a bit newer but still not brand new chain, right? It went through its fair share of little bear market here, and
Yeah,
it's
it
doing
did.
well. Value lock is going up, so let's fucking go, Byron.
Let's fucking
You
go.
can't kill us, we're zombies.
Yeah. The other reason you need to check in on the AAA Discord and make sure you get your creepy companions or Zomsays verified is because we also do send out rewards through Drip. And I will be sending out one today, so I'll send you that notification later in the back channels, GG. But yeah, a couple of rewards for the creepy companion and Zomsays holders coming up. So if you're not registered, get registered or verified, right? If you're not registered, verified.
Yeah, and Byron keeps posting updates about Wax and your drips all there as well. So you really need to get verified to get all those comments, or you could just follow all of the handles that Byron has. So the
Yeah.
DHC handle, the drip handle. So follow those in case you would prefer having your notifications on Twitter. Make sure you put the notifications on to get them. But again, Byron's been dropping drips almost daily now. So
Yeah.
go collect them. They're super cheap,
A penny.
and I love that because they're just normal little sketches. It's not necessarily a full finished piece, and like even the piece that we put out today for the auction, it was a rare black and white that we had on Drip, and now it's fully colored and painted on Stargaze for the one-on-one Horde of the Undead. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'm kind of
Let's
almost
close this
done.
off.
What's that now?
Let's close this off. There's about 5 minutes left. I actually have an appointment this afternoon that I need to get to. So, yeah, but I really wanted to come on today, talk a little bit about what was going on. And I didn't want to leave you hanging.
No problem. I got a long overdue portrait done. So that was great. Thank you, Kylan, for being so patient. And thanks everyone that does tune in now or later on now. That's about all I have to say. It's been a long morning, actually. So, thanks for showing up, GG. Superman, appreciate it a lot. And let's fucking go.
Better days are coming, man. So let's fucking go. And we'll see you guys again on Tuesday. Because starting Tuesday, I should free myself up fully, as all of the things that have in my personal life are going to be passed. And yeah, I should have a lot more time to do more of the digging, new ideas, pushing more content out. So let's
Yeah.
fucking go, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
And then we'll get working on that wax. Absolutely, man.
Yes.
All right, boys.
Yes.
Take care. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Feel better, Superman. Cheers.